morning. I'm Mrs. Sanborn, and I wanted to take a few minutes to go through a reading and a little bit of a writing lesson for the first few days of your first packet, just to give you an idea of what we might do in the classroom, make it a little bit easier for at home as you're working with your student. So I've chosen the reading All About Monkeys to get started with. If I were working with a student or one of my children at home, I would let them pick which animal they wanted to work with, and I would get the reading out and I would sit next to my student and try to read it with them. I know these passages are going to be a little bit difficult for most of your children at home, but reading together is a good way to help them develop fluency and learn new things about the animals. Your child should know some of the words, so reading together and pointing to them as you're reading them is a great way for your child to understand where the different words are on the page and to also get that eye to hand to brain coordination for that reading. So I would read through and say monkeys are mammals. Some have long tails and some have short tails, but they all have tails. Monkeys are playful, fun little animals who are very smart. They live in large family groups. All monkeys eat different things, but they often eat fruit, leaves, seeds, and insects. Most monkeys live and spend their time in the trees. They have special hands and tails that help them grasp branches to swing and do tricky jobs. When I'm done with that part with my child, I would go back and say, what were some words that you noticed might have been new words or tricky words that we didn't know? And some of those words might have been, and I'll get a pen or a highlighter out, the word mammals. And I would say, well, what does that word mean? And what do you think it means? And we would talk about what that means. Um, Another word might be, let's see, the word grasp down here at the bottom, the word grasp. And we would talk about that word. And then I might go back and I say, because we're learning about what animals need to survive. And I would say, well, what in this little story here talks about what animals have, where they live, and what they need to survive. And then I would talk to my child about where they live. And in here, it talks about how monkeys live and spend their time in trees. So we would go back and find that part. Talk about what they eat. So find the spot in here that talks about what animals eat and maybe circle that or underline it as well in a different color. You could use crayons for this. And then I would find a spot in here where it talks about what the monkeys look like. Because in your packet of work for this week and next week, there are writing organizers. We're going to do our reading and our writing together that show what the student is learning. And at the end of each week, you'll have the opportunity to write a teaching book about what you've learned about one animal. So if we're going to write about monkeys today, then your writing organizer for today looks like this right here. Okay, and it's in your packet. I'm going to move my coffee cup. Go here, my camera down a little bit. At the top, you can't read it very well on my camera, but when you have it out in your packet, you'll be able to see. It says writing organizer. There's a spot for your student's name and a spot for the animal name. So what I would do is the first couple of them, I would help my student by writing down the animal's name. So right here, I would write monkeys. And I would write that in there for my child or for most students. If your child is on the higher end of learning and understanding and really enjoys writing, then go ahead and let them attempt it. They can copy it right from the reading. If they are hesitant to do it because they don't want to get it wrong, then you can go ahead and fill it in on the first couple just to show them how. And then right here in this first box, there's a set of eyes. So in this box, we're going to write a few words about what the animal looks like. And that's where I go ahead and I get this paper back out again. And I say, what do animals look like? Well, right here it says long tails, short tails. So they all have tails. Okay, so I'm going to write the word tails here. And then it doesn't really say an awful lot about what they look like. So that's where I'm going to say, okay, well, there aren't any more words that tell what the monkey looks like. but I can look at the picture. And in the picture, I can see that they have hair all over their body. So I might write lots of hair, or I might write they're fuzzy. So I'm going to write the word fuzzy. Okay, yeah. And I'm going to leave that alone for right now. If you just have a couple of words, then that's perfect. Now, right here, there's a spoon and a fork. So in this box, I'm going to write a few things that monkeys might eat. And we've already gone through here and maybe underlined or circled what they eat. And they eat fruit, leaves, seeds, and insects. So I'm going to write a couple of those things here. Fruit, leaves, seeds. Okay. Oh, here's a house. So the house is going to tell me that I need to fill in some information about where the monkeys live. Go back to my story and find out where they live, or I can just remember that most monkeys live in trees. So I can either write the word trees, or I can have my student draw a picture of a tree, and that would be perfect. And then here there's like a starburst picture right here. And this is kind of a fun fact. Let's see, was there anything fun that we learned about monkeys in here? And right down here at the bottom, it said they have special hands and tails that help them grasp branches to swing and do tricky jobs. So right here, they can do tricky jobs. That's what I'm going to pick. Do tricky jobs. Or they can swing in the trees. And once I have like a couple of things in each box, I'm done with my writing part for today. The science portion of the lesson is just talking about what do animals need to survive. So now that we've done the reading and the writing, it's a discussion. And you ask your student, what did you learn about what animals, this animal, the monkeys, need to survive? Where do they live? What do they need to survive in the trees? Well, the trees provide fruit, they provide leaves, and the bugs that they eat, right? And they also, you can think about that. Where are trees? They're up off of the ground. So why do you think monkeys are up off of the ground? What keeps them safe up there? And just lead your child's thinking with that. I hope this was helpful today for your first few lessons. I will post another one on Wednesday to talk about getting started writing a book. Okay? If you have any questions about reading or writing or math this week, go ahead and get a hold of your teacher. Thanks. Have fun.